Hello, my name is Carrie Madden Lunsford, and I am the author of Werewolf, Hamlet. I grew up the daughter of a college football coach, and I've lived in 13 states. I now live in Birmingham, Alabama. Werewolf Hamlet is set in Los Angeles, the city where we raised our kids, and it's really a love letter to both my children and Los Angeles. Here's the book. Werewolf Hamlet is about a little boy named Angus Scuttlefinger who thinks if he puts on Hamlet with werewolves, his big brother will stop drinking and using and acting like a werewolf and become his normal brother again, preferably by Friday. He also is a kid who loves costumes, and his big brother taught him how to do the Shakespearean insulter. His family is in a real state of chaos. The parents are struggling with finances. His big sister wants to move to Maine because it's the furthest point from California. He has another little sister who gets the tar feeling when she's sad and loves fairies. But his big brother Liam is the one who is his beloved brother who is going off the rails, and Angus wants to save him and fix him. Yes, this book does have some heavy themes, and in a way, I never wanted to write this book because I didn't want this to be our story. But our oldest son began to struggle with addiction when he was in his late teens and early 20s. And I refused to believe that we were going to be on this journey. And so I remember we were at a family therapy session in the desert, and I was whining and complaining to the therapist who was, teaching families how to deal with a loved one who is struggling. And I went up to him and I said, "But how can I have a kid who's an addict? He's been my editor and inspiration, and I write books for kids." Whatever I said, it was totally whiny. And the guy said, "What the heck does that have to do with anything? Write the book for the kids who need it." I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll try." And so I didn't. I was too scared to write that version of the book. But then when I thought, well, I can't control my son, maybe I can write about it from a kid's point of view and see what happens. I hope that they learn that they don't have to fix or control anybody and that they get to live their own lives. Our family, we spent a lot of time trying to solve our son's problems or fix him or get him on the right path or give him suggestions, and all, and it didn't give him the dignity to decide things for himself. And so I hope kids, when they read this, they realize they can still love the person who is struggling, but that doesn't mean they have to give up their entire lives. They get to live their own lives. And I think by letting go of our own worries and anxieties, we were able to become a family again in a different way. And I kind of wanted that for the Scuttlefinger family. I wanted them to see that they love Liam. They love him so much. That's what I hope kids take away, that they get to live their lives and find what they love to do, whether it's doing plays or painting or drawing or sports or, whatever they love to do. That's what I hope that they would take away. Angus sits on the roof waiting for Liam to come home. He climbs out the window and sits on the roof thinking, if I just wait on the roof, maybe I'll see him coming scootering down the street. I didn't sit on our roof waiting for our son, but I did stand at doors and windows waiting. And so to go back into those scenes in a deep way, that was hard because it brought back a lot of memories. But the easiest part, the most fun part, was I had a friend who said there are no quiet moments in this novel. And I thought, well, I'll show you. Yes, but there weren't any. There were no quiet moments. So in between each chapter, I created conversations with Liam in the night, and they're like interludes. And it was so effortless to write those conversations because I just got out of the way and let my characters talk to each other the way brothers would. Another really fun part to write was Angus has imaginary conversations in his head of the way life should be from the brain of Angus Jack Scuttlefinger. And so his teacher, when he imagines her, she thinks werewolves are so cool, and why can't she have more students like Angus. So it was really fun to also, what Charlesbridge did, they let me write them in play form because I'm also a playwright. And in the conversations in the night, those are also really set apart from the book design where you really see how the brothers talk to each other. And I've also been taking those scenes in a couple of really early school visits I've been doing and having the kids read the parts. And that makes it so much more fun because it's very active and interactive. When I began to write this book, it was really as a way of holding on to my kids' childhoods, because I began it so long ago and they were growing up so fast. And at the time I thought, I'm kind of in control of their childhoods. I thought I had some control, but while I was writing this book, I thought, I don't have any control over the outcome of, we did our best, but it's on them now. And I think that's what I wanted for Angus too, to realize, he doesn't have to control anybody. I did put a Post-it note on my desk that said, it's for kids, when my own anxious, crazy mother voice would come looming in. I think that was, I learned that I had no control, but I could focus on what I could control, which was writing a book for kids. And that gave me so much freedom and so much peace of mind. Yes, Karen Boss, my editor, my wonderful editor, had this great idea that I should revisit the locales of the novel one more time. I'd already been there, I'd done all the preliminary research, but in the final stages, I asked my friend Laura if she would go with me to look at some of the locales. There's a scene where the kids try to find Liam in Hollywood. I had them in an early draft walking down Laurel Canyon Boulevard, and as we were driving up Laurel Canyon, I thought, there is no way, it's so dangerous. So I found a bus stop and I went up to a lady and said, what's the bus? And she goes, it's 218. And I looked it up and it was 218. So I thought, these kids are riding the bus. And then we also walked over that day to Harry Houdini's house. Harry Houdini was an escape artist, magician, and we were able to walk through the Houdini grounds. And when we got to the top of the mansion, a pack of coyotes started howling. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's a gift. That's going in the novel. I was so glad that I didn't just I've already done that. I was really glad to get a second chance to do it again before doing the final edits. I hope they look up some silent movies. It's really cool to look at Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton and Lon Chaney and look at how silent movies were made. No computers, all performing the stunts themselves. Lon Chaney carried his own makeup box to the set because he wanted to make his nostrils flare or his eyes bulge in the Phantom of the Opera. So I just think looking at the way old movies were made, I also hope that kids think, oh, maybe it'd be fun to do a play with my friends, make a band. I just hope that they have fun with it and see that they get to be artists and creators and explore what they love to do.